What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Terror Table, a horror movie podcast hosted by yours truly, Mitch, and with me, as always.
It's Buzi.
And it's just us today. The Gruesome Twosome's back. We just wanted to have one of these episodes that we can just dive into what we've been seeing. We've had a lot of awesome guests recently, but we wanted to just do a little intimate one because we know also a lot of people like the ones where it's just us and we can just fully dive into the movies we're watching.
Yeah, and we can be bigger idiots because we know each other. We don't have to introduce the idiocracy. You don't have to like slowly boil someone like a frog into like all the dumb shit we talk about.
Yeah, I feel like we've been lucky lately because like last time we were released an episode was with our friend Mitch Clark, and that was a super fun episode. Love talking to Mitch, and I know we got a lot of positive feedback on that one. So appreciate everyone. Appreciate everyone listening, and once again, thanks to Mitch for coming on because he's yeah, I don't like to play favorites, but that dude is definitely one of my favorites. Like I just love talking to that guy. And
now, Mitch, you don't want to pick favorites.
Yeah, you just we're very lucky that we
tend to just always have a great time when he's around.
Yeah, and just in general, we got great guests. And I guess I'll just quickly say that now to give people a bit of a heads up is our next episode. Unfortunately, Buzi's going to be you're booked for that day, so you're not able to make it.
It's wedding season, baby.
Yeah, wedding season. But it's also, I guess, first I'll say we decided to continue the trend of summer slashers. And we spoke so much about The Burning last week, and I know that you hadn't seen it before. So I
expressed my remorse to not having seen it yet.
Yeah, well, no, and like that. So this is a perfect time to talk about The Burning. We're in the middle of July. It's July 10th as we're recording this. It's summertime camp slasher time. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But after that, we're going to transition into haunted house films. And for the first episode, we're going to be welcoming frequent guests to the show. Another one of our favorites, Daniel Epler of Cobwebs. Woo. And Hayden Gilbert is going to be coming back. He's a writer, and he was on the Crimson Peak episode. Hayden's just an absolute blast.
Yeah, we just instantly clicked with Hayden. Love him.
Yeah, Hayden, and we're gonna get Mark Warner back too, because the last time you heard Hayden, wow, Hayner. That's their Brangelina name. Because they tend to always go on shows together, because they got such great chemistry. They're really
right. They're like the two Muppets that sit in the balcony together.
Yeah,
whenever they're on a podcast, like
yeah, it's one of the. They're like us in the sense where. You would be some people are probably like, are you guys even friends because of how hard we roast each other sometimes?
Yeah.
But I love their dynamic and their chemistry. But we're gonna get Mark on again as well sometime. But last time you heard Hayden, we did an episode on Crimson Peak, which was much fun.
A fun one. Yeah,
that was great. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about The House by the Cemetery. The first Daniel even pointed it out. He's gonna be popping our Fulci cherry on the Terror Table. We've done like 260 episodes, and we've never done one on a Lucio Fulci movie.
Well, but that's because we needed to save room for bait.
It's true.
Sorority Row.
It's Sorority Row and fucking Stay Alive. We even discussed doing an episode on MILF Manor, which I think we might need to do. I still have. Oh God, I can't.
I was gonna say. I was about to ask if have you seen it yet?
I do. I that I'm a glutton for like bad trash reality, and when I heard that, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be amazing. I watched 7 episodes, and it was so difficult. Like
disgusting.
I never not finish, but I was like, I can't do it. Like it is so wrong. Like my stance on that show is I feel like it should be illegal. I feel like the only way that show can justify existing is if when people are getting voted off or whatever, there's police on the other side ready to arrest them. It is so fucking disgusting.
Take them all to get like lobotomies or something. Be like, none of you are right. I don't want you guys reproducing anymore.
I know it's so wrong. But speaking of which, though, before we move on from that, the last episode I saw of it, they introduced a new MILF, and so if people don't know, it's all these MILFs think that they're going to an island to date younger men. And I'm sure you can guess the twist. They get there and they realize that it is all of their sons. So the sons and moms are like trying to hook each other up with each other. And it is so fucking wrong.
It's chaos. Yeah.
It's so gross. But
there's a couple very shameless people on there who are clearly trying to just like get on TLC or some shit.
Did you see? I don't know how far you watched, but
I finished the whole show.
Oh
It's
my God.
yeah.
That's yeah, like the when that kid yeah, I say kid because they're like 18 years old. He reveals that he got pink eye from eating ass.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
oh my God, it's so gross. But no, yeah, before we move on, Lisa Wilcox comes onto the show. Do you know who that is?
Uh somebody not from MILF Manor.
That she's well, she is Alice, the lead character in Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5.
No way.
Yeah, she's on it. She goes on with her son. It's oh my God.
Oh,
It's something else. But yeah, oh yeah, so we're doing the House by the Cemetery and we're pairing it up with The Uninvited from 1944. Much classier that's a much classier picture than MILF Manor. But I love because I just watched House by the Cemetery.
so are you implying that like the MILF Manor itself is haunted? Like it's just been tainted with so much like well, you know what I mean? Like
Uzi,
terrible taboo things that it's just
you are onto something. I
I
did not
yeah,
even
that's
think about that, but man, is that a great premise for a film?
haunted MILF Manor.
Yeah, and hosted by Zach Baggins.
You know what? I didn't realize some of that. What is that Ghost Hunters show? Remember? I didn't realize some of the dumbass wild shit that those people say and do on that show. It
It's unreal.
yeah, like they tried for a little bit to be like, okay, we're kind of like, like we're playing it off like maybe something's happening. And then after a while, they're getting like their balls tickled and stuff, and like their hats are flying away. And Zach Baggins like,
Do
I'm
any
gonna
of these
fight you, Ghost.
fuckers? Do any of these fuckers ever come up, pop on the wall and shoot a huge cum shot? Shout out! I think you should leave. I watched that new season 3 times.
Did you like it?
Oh, of course, it's so good. Everyone was talking about how I think it might be the weakest season.
Yes, I think it's the weakest season.
That's saying something though. That's the like. It's still so funny.
Some
Like,
of the skits are like really good for the and very quotable.
yeah, the driving crooner. Like, there's some
He gotta be
classics.
right next to him.
Yeah, they're trying to steal my decals. It's so. Oh no, but like I knew I was in love when he's on the dating show and he's just
The
went for
zip
the zip
line.
line.
I think you're just here for the zip line.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, horror stuff. I'm actually going to probably talk about some things that aren't horror today because I don't know if you've seen my letterboxd. I've been on a couple marathons, so I'm going to
Oh no, I
briefly touch
haven't.
on them.
I haven't seen a ton, so I haven't been on Letterbox myself, but I have a couple things to talk about. Like I haven't been
Sweet.
on Letterbox too much, I guess.
Well, let's kick us off then, Boozy. You want to tell me about something you've seen recently?
Yeah, can I talk about something that isn't horror? Oh my God, now I'm like worried
No,
that
it's
I've
fine.
talked about this already.
Let's hear it. I'll be able to maybe tell you
Okay,
if we've
and we
talked
can
about it.
cut it out or whatever. I watched Dune finally.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I know that I'm like, what is it, 3 years late on
Yeah, it's
Dune?
pretty late, but I guess it's time
Yeah.
because the second part's coming out.
Well, that's how you know your boy re-upped his Netflix because
Yeah,
he finally got to watch Dune. I thought Dune was a fucking masterpiece. Obviously, it's like I think that I should have probably seen it in theaters to get that cinematic masterpiece because a home TV just really doesn't do it unless you have a 4K, which I do
I
not.
just got one. I just got one.
What?
Yeah, actually,
Okay, I'm
funnily,
bringing my copy of Alligator over.
yes, no, and that's I still don't have a 4K player, but even Blu-rays on this thing, like it's unreal.
Mhm.
But funny story, I bought it off of Tibor Takis, the director of The Gate, and yeah, like The Gate.
Did you get him to sign it? There's just like
yeah, just sign the screen. No, he's just an incredibly nice guy, and Jason was with him, and he's just moving back to, he has a place in LA and Vancouver, but he got rid of his place in Vancouver.
right.
So he's getting rid of his stuff, and he gave it to me for a very good deal. But I'm like, the coolest
Wild.
part about this is I'm looking at my 4K TV that I bought from the director of The Gate, one of my favorite 80s horror movies, and I have like a limited edition The Gate poster right beside it. Like life's weird, man.
The Gate's slowly taking over your wall space.
Yeah.
It's
No,
becoming more and more influential in your day to day.
exactly. Yeah. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. What
No,
do you
no,
think
no.
about the Dusty? The Dune Dusty.
I just have to say though, I think that would be an awesome thing if you actually did have that signed. It would be such a weird relic in like 20 years. It'd be
Yeah.
like now seeing like a VHS or like VHS player that has someone's random signature, like Kane Hodder.
Yeah. Kane Hodder signed my copy of Casper.
Yeah. It's all I had on me at the
Or
time.
the Rugrats, the movie one where it was an orange VHS tape. Remember that?
that was there was like that weird point, same with like N64 games where
Hmm.
like if it was colored, it was like 10
Donkey
times
Kong.
cooler. Yeah, I was like, whoa, this is a fun game.
Yeah. What was the
Um,
other? Oh, yeah, another orange VHS tape. Good Burger.
I didn't have that one.
No way
What?
do you not know about Good Burger. Good
No,
Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I
yeah,
take your order?
not part of my lifestyle or my death
Dude.
style.
That is actually such a boozy. Like that's like
Ism.
experiencing Ernest for the first time again.
Right. I
Uh,
love Ernest
yeah,
still.
he's the best. Rest in
Okay,
peace.
and rest in peace. R.I.P. to the king. Anyway, Dune was really, really great. Obviously, I don't have to talk about it too much. I thought the Shai Hulud was very spooky and cool.
Yeah, it's the
Some of the stuff.
Dusty.
Oh my gosh. I will say that sometimes when they showed the sand, it looked a little funky. Um,
Yeah, admittedly, man, haven't told anyone this, but obviously we're sharing now. Yeah, you opened up about being 3 years late on Dune.
mhm,
I didn't see Dune in the theater either. So I'm actually hoping that they'll do a re-release of it before
mhm.
part two comes out because I do feel like I need to experience it in on the big screen.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they're actually doing like I think they're doing a trilogy out of the, aren't they?
I think so.
I
This is
think it's
one of those, yeah, like I love that everyone loves it. I like Dune. Like it's good, but it's just
yeah,
not like yeah, I'm gonna talk about something else today that like just not my franchise. I understand why it would do so much for everyone else.
right.
But yeah, it's very much in line with that. But
Oh,
it's a good
I'm
movie.
sure it's a good movie.
Yeah,
I'm
go
sure there's a
movie.
lot of people who, yeah, like really like it and know way more about it. Like I haven't read the books or anything,
Yeah.
so I don't have that background. But I thought it was a great like space epic, and I know that a ton of things, like including like Star Wars, are like based off of it,
Yeah, it's a huge
and like
novel.
hugely influential. But I do appreciate that we are getting all of the trilogy. I'm hoping because it was a really tough way to end it. I'm sure I don't know if you can remember what the
Yeah,
ending of it just
it
it felt so obviously it's like super fucking abrupt and
yeah,
it's
it's a
just
very much a part one.
yeah it's the
Major blue
fellowship.
balls. Yeah. Fellowship we kind of still had like a came full circle a little bit, but I know lots of movies are doing that now. Like even I still haven't seen it, but Across the Spider-Verse I know has like a sharp cut at the end where it's to be continued.
Mhm.
Because it's two parts. I'm going to see Dead Reckoning, New Mission Impossible tomorrow. It's part one of two. It's like,
How
man,
is
we're
there a
in,
Mission Impossible and an Indiana Jones out at the same time right now? We're in
and
a
that's
strange timeline.
those are the two franchises I'm going to briefly touch on today. I went through
Perfect.
all of them,
Awesome.
but I haven't seen the new Indy yet. But I'm my most anticipated movie this year is Dead Reckoning. I'm so fucking excited to see it tomorrow.
You're like, what is Tom Cruise gonna jump off of now?
Exactly. Just I love that psychopath. Like I love what he does for us. Don't love him, but fuck it, I do love him.
You're right. He does it for the culture. He's
He
out there
does.
fucking, he's like, I don't want a green screen anywhere near me.
Yeah. And like yeah, he's, bankrolling one of the worst things in our society like Scientology. Like that's
Mhm.
an issue. But at least we're not like, directly seeing him do these fucked up things. It's not like he's Danny
Right.
Masterson,
Yeah, right. He's
or
keeping it to
Jonah Hill
himself.
currently. It's like at least he's like such a skilled psychopath. Like, he's very good at
Jonah,
what he
all you had
does.
to do was stay on the straight and narrow and not say
Yeah.
anything weird to women. You couldn't do
Yeah.
it.
I know it's pretty shocking that that guy is insecure. No, we're not going to talk about that. We've gotten away from the cancel corner,
That's very
cancellation.
true. Yeah, that's that we canceled that.
Yeah. But yeah, so Dune, that was had a bunch of fun with that one. Yeah, that one comes out right away here, so that's exciting. Do you want to hit us with another one?
Yeah, I'll talk about another one. This one isn't as fresh in my memory, but it is a more recent film. I believe it is out on Shudder, I want to say. And this
Hmm.
is from this year, 2023's Consecration.
Okay. I
This is
saw it pop
directed,
up there, but I haven't seen it.
yeah, so this is directed by Christopher Smith, written by Christopher Smith, and stars, is it Jenna Maloney or is it Jenna Malone?
I got a Jenna Malone.
Danny Huston and Janet Suzman. So it actually,
Oh, I like Danny Huston.
yeah, it's a decent cast, honestly, and a
Hmm.
very cool setup. A very cool setup. It's Consecration is after the alleged suicide of her priest brother, Grace travels to the remote Scottish convent where he fell to his death. Distrusting the church's account, she uncovers murder, sacrilege, and a disturbing truth about herself.
So that
So
sounds up my alley.
I was right away. I feel like I was testing this movie in a weird way for you.
Yeah,
Um,
giving a little test run for me.
yeah, because this is totally up your alley with you love your sacrilege,
Yeah,
I would
big
say.
fan of Satan.
Big ups to the homie.
He was one of my
Anyway,
first likes on Facebook. Mitch Oliver likes Satan.
man, that's actually pretty bad. Do you think did your parents have to have a talking with you
My,
after?
I swear to God to you that both of my parents have told me to stop saying "Hail Satan" in my life. Like, they don't like that.
Not too super duper fun.
No.
Yeah, so this is a possession film. I mean, it's fairly new, so I don't want to talk a lot about it, but I think people can form their own opinions. They have some decent sacrilegious imagery. I feel like the story itself, I gave it 2.5. There was some weird effects, and overall I didn't connect with it entirely, but I
Oh,
liked
bummer.
yeah, and I think I really wanted to like this movie more. And I liked kind of the idea of like there's a little bit of possession and being followed in this convent, and you have your character slowly being like thrust into having to be around all these people, and kind of they slowly like turn her. It's kind of cool that way. But I think Mitch, I think you should check this out yourself because there might be something more there for you than there was for me. I did think that the cinematography for this was fantastic though, so I will give big ups to that.
Nice.
But yeah, so that was the consecration.
Nice. Yeah, I really like Danny Huston, and I think it might be Houston Huston. I don't know. I just always know him as like he's the king shit vampire in 30 Days of Night.
Yeah.
He's done like a million other things, but like that's who he is to me. Like, he's like a world-class actor, but fuck, he's so good in 30 Days of Night.
Oh,
Um,
he was so, and yeah, like he plays a fucking wicked ass vampire. Let's
yeah.
not forget Jenna Maloney from The Ruins
Jenna
and
Malone, yeah.
Jenna Malone, Sucker Punch. Remember Sucker Punch?
Oh,
Um,
I got the fucking steel book of Sucker Punch. That's
of
one of the
course.
dumb, like, dude, I got some, yeah, that's at the top with my Green Lantern steelbook, like the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. It's like, why do I have this?
Who wanted this?
Yeah, it's a me.
Did,
Um,
even when you bought it, did you want it that bad, or was it kind of like, oh, this is a collectible?
I'm not gonna lie. I convinced myself that I liked Sucker Punch because I like some of the songs in it. I remember, the movie makes no sense at all.
No, it
But
doesn't.
it is
It's like a
also like,
fever dream.
yeah, but it's like really pretty people and like, Zach, like that was at the time where I liked Zack Snyder.
Hmm.
Because I really like The Watchmen. I know a lot of people don't, but it's like my favorite book of all time. And the movie
I
is
thought
like,
it was a cool movie.
yeah, it is. And like, but no, I think I convinced myself I like Sucker Punch, but I have zero desire to watch that one again.
Okay, so put away your steel books for those then.
It's one of the ones that didn't make the cut.
It didn't
On
even make
my
it to Vancouver.
No, because I still only half of my collection is here. Half of my collection is still in my mom's, and it's so funny because I was like, I can only bring out the essentials. It's 650 fucking movies. So, but it is pretty funny how there's a couple. I had a meltdown one day because I'm like, no way would I forget to bring out Aquaman. I wanted to pull that off the shelf, and I was like, no fucking way. And then I found it. I thought
do
someone
you,
stole my Aquaman.
do you ever just take like one of your like movies off the shelf and just kind of like look it over? Do you,
Oh
like
yeah,
look at the front, the back, like if it's
I
got
do it
anything
all the
inside?
time.
It's I don't, I've started doing it so much, and it's like, why am I doing this?
It's part of the appeal of being a collector, and
I
it's
guess
like,
so. I
you
need to
know,
find joy in these things being here.
yeah. Well, that was like, it's kind of the old version of doom scrolling Netflix is going into going into a video store and spending an hour just looking at things and then ending up going home with the first thing that you picked up anyways. Like that was such
That
a thing
was
for me.
and going by covers, like because there was
Yeah.
no internet, so you just had to be like, what looks the most interesting, and the
Yeah.
cover on the back with the clips maybe will line
Mm-hmm.
up.
Yep. Yeah, no, those were good times, but I love doing that. Okay, consecration. I'll just quickly knock off a couple things that aren't horror, but yeah, I've made it like pretty clear that I'm a huge Mission Impossible fan. Just went through that whole franchise again. So excited for Dead Reckoning. It is crazy how much better these movies get as they go. The last three in particular, I think like it's one of the rare cases where the first one I think is a great movie and it's directed by Brian De Palma. Like people he's an incredible director. But I'm so excited. The stunts get crazier and crazier. They look amazing on my 4K TV. I
Who
was like
else is in
rewatching them
this?
again. Sorry.
Who else is in? Is there anyone like I would know?
Oh, dude, in Dead Reckoning, like I am so amped about this cast too, because it's Tom Cruise, Rebecca Ferguson, who's like top three crushes for me, but she's
Hmm.
also just like she's a phenomenal actor. She played Rose the Hat in Doctor Sleep. Yeah, and then Vanessa Kirby, who's really great. Haley Atwell, who I know you're not a Marvel guy. I actually am not anymore either. But in the
Whoa,
prime,
you're gone, hey?
I'm just done. Like I haven't even seen Ant-Man. I haven't seen. I want to see Guardians 3. I like those movies. I believe that one will be good, but
Yeah.
I am tired. Tired of it. Like I'm never gonna watch Ant-Man, the Quantumania or whatever the fuck.
Okay,
Um
so do you feel like you just had are you just burnt out, or did you
no, they
have
got
enough
bad.
of these characters in general? Okay,
It's
it's
they
just
got bad. Like I stand by that. Like there was, for a while there when everyone was having Marvel fatigue, I'm like, but I know they're not your thing, but they
mhm.
were still, I'm like, you know what? As long as they keep making great movies, I
Yeah.
don't care how many of them come out. I'm down for that.
No,
But
I know, like obviously I've made it my thing that it's not my thing, but I
yeah,
like talking about it and hearing about it because it is interesting having kind of an outsider perspective of not going to see all these, but just kind of hearing how you guys have evolved like over the years. We've been doing
I'm
this
just,
for so long, like
yeah,
hearing you guys talk about all these different
I'm
movies.
over it. But at the same time, like I said, I want to see Guardians 3 because I love James Gunn and I love those first two movies. I believe it'll be good. But I'm excited for Deadpool 3 because it's got
Hmm.
Wolverine. Like these are all characters I grew up with. Um, but I'm just like, I don't know. They're not going a direction that interests me right now.
Right.
But I hope they're good. Like my
Eh,
favorite one out of this new phase is the one that everyone hates the most, which is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Like I just love it because it's a Sam Raimi movie and it like feels
right.
like a Sam Raimi movie.
So do you
Um,
feel like they need to stop for a little bit and reset,
they are not
or
going to though. Like that's never gonna happen. Like they roll out that slate for the next 10 fucking years. I
right?
don't know. I'm never rooting for something to fail unless it's like a Woody Allen movie. But but yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I'm just over it. I'm just, like I can't believe like, I haven't loved the last like five Christopher Nolan movies. Like not since Inception has something really done something for me from him.
Right.
But I'm really excited for Oppenheimer now because I'm like, fuck, we're getting a huge movie that isn't a sequel, it isn't a remake, it isn't a Marvel movie. It's like
Yes, yes, it's its
I'm
own. Yeah.
and it's like a cast of incredible actors. Like we've seen Robert Downey Jr. in a movie that isn't a Marvel movie or Doctor Dolittle. I'm so excited for that. Killian Murphy, I'm late to the party. I'm just going through Peaky Blinders now, and it's fucking amazing.
I
I
love the
fucking
Peaky Blinders
Oh,
memes.
they
They're
are
the
so
best.
funny. Yeah, like the Sigma male shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great show, and Killian is amazing. But no, yeah, but Mission Impossible is a prime example. We're on the seventh movie. I'm like, they keep getting better. Keep giving
Hmm.
them to me. Give them, give me.
I'm glad that they're still holding up
Oh, they're just
because
getting better.
another outsider perspective of me watching people slowly turn on Fast and the Furious
Hmm.
as it has jumped over several sharks.
Which is so funny since I turned into a Fast and the Furious
Yeah.
fan. Like I did the
And
opposite. I
And I
still haven't
remember
seen the
like
new one.
seeing the first like three of them, and then I saw five, and I thought that was actually really cool, good
Five is
action
awesome.
movie. And
Yeah,
then I just remember it getting really like dumb after that.
yeah, yeah. It's five is like that's like one of the all-time great action movies. Like it's
No,
just
yeah, I thought it was
undebatable.
incredible.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's the more silly, the more self-aware that they're getting. It's like I don't know, less fun for me because like part of the charm was that it felt like they didn't know how dumb it was.
Like they
Like
weren't in on the joke, right?
yeah, like the whole family thing, and now like it's just balls to the wall. Whatever. I'm yeah,
Fuck it, they went to space, whatever.
exactly. What was I talking about? Yeah, so I know another thing, last thing, not horror. I haven't seen the new Indiana Jones, but I went through all those again. Were you an Indiana Jones kid?
Um, yes and no.
Yeah, I
I
feel
I
that's me.
watched I watched Temple of Doom a bunch because we owned it on VHS, but like none of the other ones.
That's wild because yeah, that's the main reason I want to mention this is like you know how big of a Star Wars is another thing. Like I
Yep.
haven't seen the new Mandalorian or Boba Fett because I'm like, just it's not good. So I'm just not enjoying it any
Mhm.
like. But
It's
those
so weird to
originals,
think that we're like casting aside Star Wars, and I get what you're saying, but
I
like in this
never,
day and
yeah,
age, it's so much.
I never thought I'd see a day where I'd have Star Wars fatigue. Like
Hmm.
that's insane. But what were we just talking about? Oh yeah, Indiana Jones. Like it's theoretic. Like I don't get me wrong, I really like Indiana Jones, but it was never my franchise. Like I had
Hmm.
those. Just as I'm certain I was annoying with Star Wars for some people. I had friends that like the unpopular opinion. Like my favorite Indiana Jones is Temple of Doom, and that's widely known as, aside from Crystal Skull, as the worst one. And it's my favorite. And like watching them again, I'm like, you know what? I can acknowledge that Last Crusade and Raiders are both better movies,
Yeah.
but fuck me, is Temple of Doom so much fun and it's so trashy. Like it's so thinking about it's the one I saw as a kid first. And it's like, dude, there are some truly traumatizing moments in that movie. And yeah, I just had that's the one I had the most fun with going through the franchise again. And I had never seen Kingdom of Crystal Skull in full
Hmm.
until 4 days ago.
Is which one was that?
It's Aliens and Shia LaBeouf.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh man.
it
What a the franchise has been all over the place.
I think don't take my word for this now because I am kind of have like a rose-colored glasses right now for just movies in general. I'm just very, happy and inspired and wanting to make stuff.
Right.
But I do think Kingdom of the Crystal Skull benefited from me not seeing it for 10 years because I didn't hate it the way that most people do. I definitely think it's the worst one out of the four I have seen, but
Yeah.
it has its moments. I think
That
the
yeah, that's a franchise I haven't gone back to in a long time. Outside of it's so strange. Outside of Star Wars, I don't find Harrison Ford that endearing.
oh, that's yeah, we are different there. I love him so much. And his most iconic role is Indy. But
Yes. Yeah,
like,
and that's
Han Solo is, of course Han Solo is my favorite, but his most iconic is Indy. But yeah, no, I'm hopefully I got the week off. So, today I was planning on going to see Insidious, The Red Door.
mhm.
But I might actually go after we wrap up tonight. Either way, or I might go tomorrow and then 'cause I'm going to Dead Reckoning at night. I might wake
Okay.
up, go to do a double
You're
feature.
having you're having a movie day. You're having and a
This is
movie
my
day for
holidays.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And it's,
treating yourself.
I have this whole week, like I'm trying not to make plans because I just want to watch movies, finish my script, write,
Hmm.
get inspired. That's what I
Hell
want to do
yeah.
this week. And I haven't been to the theater as much as I'd like to. So I plan on like I want to go see Indie, I want to go see Insidious, and there's a bunch of cool shit out. I still
You're
haven't
gonna go
seen
see
Spider-Man.
Barbie.
Okay, are you gonna go see Barbie? I
I
legitimately
want
am.
to go. I want to go.
I'm contemplating
That's
doing the double feature of Oppenheimer and Barbie. I think
right.
me
That seems like such a deadly combo, and
memes
it's like
are truly doing so much for both of those movies.
that, and also I think like Ryan Gosling could get me to pretty much watch just about anything. That
I
fucker.
love that you go to Ryan Gosling over Margot Robbie. But truthfully,
Margot
yeah,
Robbie's like, meh.
oh my god, those are like two of the most stunning people alive. But no, I'm excited for it. I hope it's good. But I love the memes of like, here's the lineup. You wake up, coffee, cigarettes, Oppenheimer, go to
Cigarettes,
then you
yeah.
cigarette, then you go to the pub, get a Cosmopolitan, go back for Barbie, and then hit the
um,
Molly in the evening.
do you think that if Oppenheimer does good, that we're gonna get a couple more like war epics? Do you think people are gonna tread back to like you're talking about having like new properties that aren't just fucking sequels or remakes?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, give me fucking a
Well,
bunch of other weird ass shit.
they just premiered the trailer for Ridley Scott's Napoleon today. So it's like we are kind of
Okay, yeah, there we go.
and I didn't watch the trailer yet, but like I love Ridley and that dude is incredibly hit or miss in his later work.
Yeah. But
But
he's good at war epics.
he is, and Joaquin is one of the greatest living actors and he's leading it. But I don't know. Yeah. I just hope we start getting more shit like this. But it is funny because even Barbie feels kind of original and it's the furthest
Yeah,
thing
it
from
does.
it, but it's just the way that it's being marketed and how it looks like. I don't know. I'm kind of for it. But did you see that they're already greenlighting like J.J. Abrams is doing a Hot Wheels movie?
So the other Renaissance is already started.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Well, because
Mm.
we also got a Tetris movie. I still haven't seen it, but I heard it's good. But that's like more. It's about the making of Tetris. I think that's interesting. But
Oh. What else are we gonna? Oh well, I guess that means that we need another Goosebumps movie then.
We do. We're getting a Goosebumps TV series, so hopefully that's good.
It
But
better have some good special effects. I feel that they need to do service to this.
I hope so. Yeah, that was so. That's all my like non-horror stuff. Do you want to hit us with another one? Then I got a few more.
The other movie I checked out, this is from 2020, so I'm a little late to it. It is called Run. It
Oh,
stars Sarah Paulson and Kira Allen.
I just read the script for this.
Did you? That's
Yeah, it's a
how.
weird one that I watched read, but it's written really like it's a really interesting script. I liked the movie too, from what I remember.
Yes, I thought this is a really how would I it really
It's
sucked me
intense.
in. Yeah, it really sucks you in right from the start and gives you this character that you have this built-in sympathy for, and then
Yeah,
you're watching as your main character kind of unravels, and it goes from strength to strength. I thought this was actually a really cool movie, and like if you check out the artwork for it, they have kind of some minimalist artwork. It's very smart. So basically the story is a girl bound to a wheelchair is having a bunch of strange things happen and realize that her mother might have something to do with it, and
yeah.
it turns
It,
into a little bit of a siege, if you will.
it's like it's about Munchausen by proxy. Do you know like the
Yes.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Like I think it's based off of that, but they don't actually like they're not using
Yeah,
their
they
names.
don't throw in that little thing at the start to get people to watch it.
No, but and there
Um,
was Patricia. What was that one called? I think it's called The Act. It was the actual Gypsy Rose Blanchard acted out, and is Patricia Arquette and oh, the girl from Me, Earl and the Dying Girl. She's really good. It was a great show, but
okay.
it's such an interesting concept that like there's a lot of sick fucking people who have kids.
Yeah, I think the most interesting and the biggest horror aspect of it is that idea of the people closest to you, or those people who are supposed to unconditionally care for you, love for you, make
Yeah,
sure that and like protect you, and to watch, this mother slowly destroy this girl is it's wild, and it turns into a cat and mouse game. I would definitely recommend it, and I have to say that I fucking loved the ending for this.
hmm
It has a spicy little ending to it. So if anyone checks it out, have fun with that.
it's this would be a good double feature with Unhinged.
It surprisingly, yeah.
Like
You just make me want to watch Unhinged.
it's because
That's
it's the best. It's so
and
good.
Unhinged is the best.
Yeah.
Let's start a cult and it'll just be about Unhinged.
If the Terror Table has done anything, it's that we built up Prophecy and
Props.
Unhinged. That's our contribution to the world. I'm happy you watched that one. That does seem like one that you would dig. I saw it when it came out, and I remember really liking it.
Yeah. So and the other thing I have to say is I think Sarah Paulson is really good. She's been in some stuff that I really don't like, but I feel like she always puts her best foot forward.
I've always she was one she I canceled her. She was one of, I didn't
Oh God,
I
we cancel so many people. Come
I
on
know,
now. I
but
canceled The Rock and people still talk about it.
I just deleted my review on Letterboxd of I gave it 3.5, but I wrote something up and I was like, Sarah Paulson puts her naturally dead eyes to work here. I was like, fuck, that's mean. But she is like she's really good in that movie. I think I think
It's such a good diss.
she's an incredibly good actor, but I think
Hmm.
for me, I just had seen her do the same thing so many times. Like I
Right.
think I was one of those people that stayed on American Horror Story way longer than I should have. And I think that probably gave me Sarah Paulson fatigue, but she was really good in Run.
I You know what? Maybe it is that she does a lot of the same kind of stuff, but for this role, I think it really
Yeah.
serviced how because she had to have a little bit of that uh what would you call it? Like that dead eye-ness to it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
like
She's a little neurotic and like crazy, but the whole
yeah.
premise is like it's hinged on her being able to convince her daughter that she's sick and like
Yeah,
everyone else, and not that she's the one who's sick, you know?
I really appreciate that. Like, yeah, when going back to like talking about the Deadeye thing, is a lot of times you're watching. No, you're watching. Like I'm thinking of scenes in this when she gets really quiet and intense.
Yeah.
Is just her processing information, like trying to figure out the best way to keep this like facade going, and
Yeah.
it's really funny.
She's one of those actors that like when she does do the dead eye thing,
Mhm.
it says so many things without her speaking a word. Like you can watch the wheels turning in her head
That's
and
her
like
blue steel.
Yeah, well, it's like, it sounds like a diss, but it's actually a compliment. Like, it's like it takes there's very few actors that can do that they can have such a presence or like an effect on a scene or like and push the story forward without saying a word.
Yeah, and without overly emoting either, not
Yeah,
like quivering or
exactly.
anything. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I totally get what you're saying. What about you? What do you got next? What's cooking?
Who's carved up? Who's a carved ham? Who's a carved beef? I'm gonna go with Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the story of Robert Englund. So it's a new
Ooh,
documentary about Robert Englund. I can be pretty quick on this one because if you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, if you're a Robert Englund fan, you should see it. It's good. It was entertaining. I think it's a
and
little
who
messy.
better than you to tell us your true thoughts on it because you're the big Nightmare fan.
I do love it's my favorite franchise. I
Yeah.
love Nightmare. But for me, it was like I already knew all most of this, so it was just the best parts of it were just watching old footage of movies that I haven't seen that he was in and seeing how good of an actor he is. And I've met him a couple times and seen him speak, and I just really like the guy, and he's the most iconic horror character for me. It's good. It's a little. I feel like it jumps around a lot. Where I was like, it just didn't feel as focused as I feel like we could get a better Robert Englund documentary than this.
Right.
But I still
Um,
I still enjoyed it.
I have to just ask, with that being said, since a lot of times these documentaries are all documenting and covering the same things, kind of treading over the same information,
Mhm.
basically, unless they're doing like recent interviews, but
Yeah.
like as the information is rolled out to you, was it good that way? Like, I mean, having known everything, it's like watching like a Halloween documentary. It's like, okay, like,
Exactly. Even you already know, but it's still entertaining
yeah, like
because
how are you presenting it to me in a fun way? Like,
yeah. I mean, I just like listening to Robert Englund talk, and
mhm.
that man can tell a story, and he's a very dramatic person. Like not like even when he's not acting, he's just a dramatic human being. I think
Isn't
that's
it
one
a
of the
born entertainer?
yeah, that's exactly it. And I think that's the biggest thing you can take away from the that movie is that this guy was destined, he was going to be one of the great actors with or without Freddie. It's just
Right.
like Freddie happened and then he became just Freddie and people couldn't
Mhm.
look past that. And that's kind of a shame. But at the same time, he created one of the greatest horror characters of all time, one
Mhm.
of the most iconic movie villains. And
And I'm sure that his bank account isn't saying what a shame too often.
not when you're charging $300 for an autograph at
There you
conventions.
go.
I was luckily enough to. I think when I got an autograph, it was only 70. But I think even we were at Monster Palooza when we were in LA, and I think it was like $350 for an autograph. I'm like, good
Yikes,
God. I get it though. Like,
man.
that's where he's not getting calls the way that, most people do anymore, like in his old age. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm all for convention culture, like, people,
Mhm.
unless there's certain people I'm not even going to mention because it's kind of close to where I live, but there's some people I think go way too, they overestimate their value. And it's like, you're, you're the Flash, man. I'm sorry.
Man, I think that one of the not funniest but most awkward things when you go to conventions and there's the person who never has a line the entire time
Oh,
and looks bored, it makes me upsetty spaghetti.
and you're going to be I know I've told this story on the podcast. I'm not going to talk about what I have talked about, but that happened with Lance Henriksen.
Oh,
Like he was right beside Robert Englund and there was a giant lineup and then I went out by myself and I'm holding my Pumpkinhead poster and I have like my Near Dark DVD in the back of one of my pants and then I had it was then my Pumpkinhead Blu-ray as well. But he was just the sweetest little man and he just wanted to sign everything. I couldn't afford
mhm.
to get everything signed. He saw that I had more, so he's like, and he sent me home with goodies. He was just
Oh,
such a sweetheart.
see, like this is a very real fear in my life is that I'm not going to be able to meet him before he passes away because I
Yeah,
genuinely like I really want to meet him. I think he's such a fucking interesting dude and he's had such a huge impact in
yeah,
horror. It's
he's
fucking
amazing.
wild. Yeah.
He's in one of the best movies I've seen this year, which was The Artifice Girl, produced by Aaron B. Kuntz and Paper Street Pictures.
Oh hell yeah.
Dude, that movie is so fucking. It's just like indie filmmaking at its best. It's like so simple, but just so clever. It's written, directed, and starring Franklin Rich, and then Lance Henriksen plays the older version of him.
Oh,
It's amazing. It's got like big Primer vibes, but I like this more than Primer because it didn't make me feel like I'm dumb. But it's just a very interesting movie
you
about
mean
AI.
that's like how I feel most of it? That's my default setting. I just feel dumb.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's just the Artifice Girl is amazing. And yeah, just huge kudos to the whole Paper Street team, and it's so good to see our buddy Aaron like take a big W with this
Yeah,
one.
of course. Oh my God, love those guys too. Like
Yeah,
it's always
it's great.
yeah, I think it would be really cool to have Lance Henriksen just narrate my life
Mm-hmm.
just for a day even if I do nothing all day. I think that his voice is so unique and powerful. This
Agreed.
makes you just want to go watch like
Like
Lance
aliens or
Henriksen.
pumpkin. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's one of the best, man. One of the best. Speaking of, I guess I'll knock off another one that I saw quite like a while ago, but one of my other favorite movies of the year so far is Influencer, which just
Oh,
came out.
yes. Yes,
And
I've
this
seen
one,
this.
yeah, it's on Shudder. And the synopsis is while struggling on a solo backpacking trip in Thailand, social media influencer Madison meets CW, who travels with ease and shows her a more uninhabited way of living. But CW's interest in her takes a darker turn. In the film starring Emily Tennant, Roy J. Saper, Cassandra Naud, Justin Sams, and Sarah Canning. And these are all Vancouver people.
Hmm.
I can confidently say now, because like you never want to be that guy when you know people who are involved with something and then it sounds disingenuous when you really build it up. I truly love this movie. I think it's fucking great. It's just a huge bonus that my friend Tesh wrote it.
Hmm.
It was him and Kurt David Harder, who's done some really cool movies like Spiral. He produces all of like him and Brandon Christensen do all of each other's movies. So he's produced Z, Stillborn, Superhost, all those movies. But Tesh is one of my really good friends out here, and that's my like the whole movie is just fucking awesome. But it's the script that really takes it to what I was getting at is like I can safely build that up because it has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not just saying that I love it because my friend did it. It's a great movie. And it's so cool seeing that it's really taking off and it's doing big things for their careers right now. And I think it's so well deserved. I confidently think that it's one of the best movies I've seen on Shudder. It looks so beautiful. It's just beautiful
Yes, that
people in
is
a
a very.
beautiful
Do you know
setting.
where they shot?
Thailand. And
Yeah,
it's
that it was a beautiful. Yeah, because I've also seen this film. I really liked
yeah.
Influencer as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is public information now, so I don't know if you get mad that I don't think so, because this is such a huge W for them. They made this thing for $180,000.
Really?
Like that is fucking insane. They all like it was a really small crew, flew out to Thailand. They like, Kurt's Sarah Canning is Kurt's partner, and she's like taking off huge right now. She's amazing. She was in Superhost and The Vampire Diaries, and she's in my friend Brian's short In the Shadow of God that she's just cleaning up awards. She's so good. But they really crushed it. Like they've been making movies for a long time. Like Kurt's done a ton of really good shit, and this is the best we've seen from them so far. And it's
Mhm.
it's so nice to see that it's really taking off for them because it's a really clever movie. It's really entertaining. It's tight. The acting across the board, you would never guess that this was made for 180 grand. Like that's insane. That's fucking insane.
That's
Uh,
yeah, that's not a lot. And
no,
for especially the fact that it did in Thailand, like that is wild.
it's crazy. It's just a huge win, and I'm so happy that yeah, people seem to even on my letterbox, it's all high scores and
Yeah, get
it,
on Shutter and check that out because
yeah.
that's a big one on there. I also will say big up to them for pulling an Adam Sandler move. They're like, hey, we're gonna go on vacation.
Dude, we talk about that all the time. Like Tesh is like that's our model now. We call it the Adam Sandler model, and the movie they're
Is
about
I
to
love that it actually is called because that's the first thing I think of is just
yeah.
like we're taking a vacation, boys.
Yeah, and
Like
they got a really really interesting one lined up, and I was just like, you cracked the
they're
code.
going to the Bermuda Triangle. They're very insistent upon a film that is about the Bermuda Triangle being
Yeah,
filmed in the Bermuda Triangle.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's yeah, just big ups to those folks, and check out the movie if you haven't yet. It's a
Hmm.
very very good. Do you want to hit me with another one, Boozy?
That's actually all I've had. I've been so busy. I could tell you, I could really bore all our listeners and talk about putting in flooring and how fun and time consuming
Your
that
place
is.
looks
But
amazing. You sent me all the
thank you.
pictures that you and Katie have been working on that place for. It's
Oh
gorgeous.
my God. Thank you
Looks
so
so
much.
good.
But yeah, I feel like a big bummer coming on here and not having more to talk about, but that's it. That's all that's encompassed my life. I put on the 90s dance remix. It's like a 2 hour mix and they kind of like update some of the songs.
Is that the one with
So
Cotton Eye Joe?
yeah, but they like add the like they
Mm-hmm.
they update a little bit and they got like Mr. Vane and they like kind of mix it up. So
Hell yeah.
anyway,
I mean,
that
man,
was all that was going on in
you
my
hit us
house.
you hit us with three movies. That's pretty good. The last one I'm gonna quickly touch on it because I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. Not a fan. I saw the new Children of the Corn, which is also on Shudder. I
Hmm.
really want you to watch it because I want you to see the ending. And it's one of those things. Why is it so fucking hard to make a Children of the Corn movie?
You literally stole the word. Like it's such a cool idea and it feels like it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's
It's like the work is done for you. Like there's so many cool ways you could take this story. And this is
yeah.
I think this is like the ninth or tenth one. And
Mhm.
honestly, like it's been a while since I've seen the first one, but I don't think the first one's even any good. Like it's crazy how they just can't crack this Children of the Corn.
There's like a curse to certain like Stephen King stories that
Mm-hmm.
there'll just never be like a good adaptation. And I really
Yeah.
hope that's not true for Salem's Lot because that's one I'm big time like
Yeah.
that needs a good adaptation.
I think that one's gonna be great. I have high hopes for that one. I'm really excited for that. But it just dude, I think this will get you more intrigued to watch it. That
Hmm.
there's a creature. There's a
Okay,
creature in this
yeah,
Children of the Corn movie.
I'm okay. I'm sold. All right, that's
I'm
weird. I
so
don't know why that would be in there, but
it is truly fucking mind-boggling. What I was watching in my bed and I sat up. I'm like, what? Like, how is this fucking happening? Whose idea was this, and how did they let it pass? It's pretty wild. But yeah,
those are
it's
some of my favorite moments. Is especially when it's something that there's already been like a one version of, and
yeah.
you're like, oh, so that's how you spiced it up. You had something really fucking weird out of left field.
Like a literal corn monster. That looks like a transformer. It is truly a sight to see.
I
So
have Sorry, go ahead.
there's plenty of other great movies on Shutter right now that you could be watching other than Children of the Corn.
Yeah, actually, you could check out the Boulet Brothers Halfway to Halloween special. They have so many fucking guests on there, and
Hell
that
yeah.
was a very cool thing. Uh, I was gonna ask you. You can cut this if you want. This is kind of just more of a question in general. You have the Taking Shape books, right?
Yeah, I do.
Do you have both of them or just the
I got them
first
both.
one?
Yeah.
Okay. I just picked up the second one because it's getting harder to find,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like I'm really more excited for that one because it's all like the unfinished scripts or like
Dude,
unshot. I'm
those
so
are
excited.
that's my favorite part. I really like I really like Taking Shape too. And
Hmm.
it's the
Not to
same
say I
with
didn't
like
like Taking Shape one, but I think like actually covering stuff we didn't get to see is
yeah,
sometimes like more interesting in the long run that way.
that's my favorite part about those books. And
Hmm.
Slash of the Titans is the other one that I have with it's the Freddy story of Freddy versus Jason, and it's all of the unmade scripts. And
Right.
dude, that it is endlessly entertaining to hear what almost happened multiple times. And
I
it is
remember you
truly
mentioning that before. That's so cool. I love that. Or I like I know I don't know if I've talked about it on here before, but like I have the other version of the Alien 3 script.
oh
And
yeah,
like
I got that one
that's
too.
super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and having
Yeah.
the artwork and stuff for that,
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah, it's a cool one. Yeah, I was actually there's a new one out for it's I guess it's been out for a couple months now, but it's a Child's Play one that I want to pick up.
Is
Because
it the
yeah,
same guys?
yeah, so far like it's been I've enjoyed all those books. So
Yeah, that because they've been doing a ton of those and they do a
mhm.
really good job. Like a you can tell they do it with love. It's not
Yeah,
just like a cash grab, like, hey, look, we have this guy from Halloween or whatever the fuck.
yeah.
I will say I've gotten into a terrible habit also lately of buying movies that I don't need, but I just want as a collector.
I saw you buy something. Oh, you bought a cool one though.
Yeah, I bought The Beast Within the other day, which is just this obscure 80s like
Yeah.
monster movie, but somebody was selling it on eBay and it was a bid thing instead of just a buy. And one person had bid like $2 on it, like English, what is that, pounds or whatever. So
Yeah.
I did like £5 and then I got a notification like a week later that was like, you're about to win this an hour. And I was like, wait. What? So I ended up having to spend like $20 for shipping for this fucking thing, but I spent $5 on it. So whoever sold it,
That's a good price for a beast within.
100%. Like the movie itself, you can get for like way more than that. It was the most, just thinking about it in a logical point. It's like, what did you gain from this? Like, it was such a throwaway thing for me that I didn't expect to win at all. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's
happy
awesome.
surprises.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, let's we're gonna take a little bit of a break, and then we're gonna come back and talk about we're gonna talk about The Burning from 1981. See you on the
Hell
other
yeah.
side.
This summer, if you're planning to go camping, don't. If you're looking forward to midnight swims, don't.
Sneak on back to the campsite. Get some matches. Build us a hot fire. Don't be long.
And if you're thinking about being with someone where no one can see you, don't. Because this summer, a legend of terror isn't just a campfire story anymore.
They say he smashed his way through the bunk room door, just a mass of flames. Burned alive, cried out, I will return! I will have my revenge! He lives on whatever he can catch. Right now, he's out there, watching, waiting. Who's there?
What happened one summer 5 years ago is about to happen again, and again, and again. The Burning.
And welcome to our main feature presentation, where we are going to be continuing our slasher series with The Burning from 1981. The Burning is the story. The synopsis is: a former summer camp caretaker, horribly burned from a prank gone wrong, lurks around an upstate New York summer camp, bent on killing the teenagers responsible for his disfigurement. We're going to get it right out of the way so that we can move on and just enjoy this conversation. But this was the very first movie by Harvey Weinstein and Bob Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein created this movie. This movie was made by a literal monster, and it kicked off a fucking multiple decades long string of abuse from this psychopath. But moving on, it's directed by Tony Maylam, and this is one of the big crown jewels on the mighty fine works of Tom Savini. So there's so much to talk about here. I have seen this movie multiple times. It's one of my favorites in the slasher genre. We've talked about that a lot. So I want to go right into you, Buzi, about your thoughts about seeing The Burning for the first
time. Yeah, so like I had said, our previous episode, that this was a little bit of a guilty, a guilty spot that I hadn't checked out The Burning, because I've seen so much artwork, and there's definitely a cult following for it, and now having watched it, I can see why. And like you were kind of mentioning, this is actually where I thought you were going before. I was talking about films that it kind of spawned out of that slasher genre that Halloween and Texas Chainsaw kind of got going there. I think this is one of the best.
Yes.
Like, well, I don't want to call it second tier, but like it's one of the best, like, also came outs of the slasher films in the 80s, like, and obviously it takes elements from the classics there, but so fucking cool. I thought this was so well done, and it kind of it did some things that aren't prototypical of a certain slashers, so I thought that was interesting as well. What's your history with this, Mitch? I think we can talk more about how I felt after, but
I didn't see it till a little bit later. I saw it in my early 20s. This was one of the very first Scream Factory movies I ever bought. And
so you own this? Okay.
Yeah, I got it right here, and the transfer is awesome. This was like one of the things that kicked off my obsession with Scream Factory when they were releasing really cool stuff. And this one I came to it a little bit later, but like you just mentioned, I consider this up there with like My Bloody Valentine. And slashers like that. Like, yeah, of course, we got so many of these, and this movie does do a lot of things that we've seen. Like, one of the biggest criticisms that slasher movies take is that they're all the same, and this movie does all of those things, but it does it better. It's like one of the best to do it. I think this movie even stands above, I would say, actually, honestly, I'm a huge Friday fan, but this is the best Friday the 13th movie that isn't Friday the 13th.
100%. I feel like it takes some of those ideas that Friday had and does them better.
Do you notice that like another big thing about slashers is it's kind of part of its charm that the characters are always so unlikable and that they're shitty and they don't feel fleshed out, and that is not the case with The Burning. The Burning introduced you to so many characters, and all of them have something going for them and feel authentic and real. Like it doesn't even feel, it is campy because it's, we got the Tom Savini effects, which I also think that, and I think most people would agree with this is some of the best effects that man has ever done. And this was still at the early stages of his career, but he famously walked away from doing like the Friday the 13th sequels to work on this one. And even like he returned to Friday with my personal favorite, which is part 4. And even like the effects in The Burning are better than the effects in Friday the 13th part 4, a movie that I love. But it's just masterclass, and like it just feels so, you can really sink into this movie, which there's even when we were watching Prom Night, I was just so pulled away from it. I was just bored and just didn't care about these people. And I'm not about to say that I cared about every character in The Burning, but they at least had some kind of depth to them. And that's something that's missing in a lot of slasher movies.
Well, like you said, it should feel like they had some sort of redeemable quality, that they weren't just these shitty people being shitty that you're fine with. You kind of felt like, oh my god, these are kids, these are teens. Like,
they have the one shitty character, which is he's meant to be the Glazer. I love the names. It's like Glazer, Alfred, Todd, Michelle, Dave, Jason Alexander, George Costanza himself. Like, I want to hear, were you a Seinfeld guy?
I actually wanted to talk about that for a quick second. I spent 30 years of my life not watching like kind of seeing bits and pieces, but not having any real depth to watching it in terms of knowing what characters are and everything. Started watching it like the start of this year.
So
I fucking love Seinfeld. Maybe it's like an acquired taste, but like I fucking love Seinfeld. I think it's so subtly funny, but seeing Jason Alexander in this with hair. Also, Jason Alexander, the more I've dug into it, is just a fantastic actor overall.
He's so good. He's really good in this movie. And obviously he created one of the best TV characters of all time with George Costanza. But quickly on that, I was like, how I got into Seinfeld was I was a kid who had always had the TV on. And, you go to TBS. And Seinfeld was like,
it was always on.
I never gave a flying fuck about Seinfeld because I was a child. Why? Like, there's just something about it that isn't for kids. So it's like I never watched it, but then there would be those times where there's absolutely nothing else on. So you go to Seinfeld, and then I remember even when I was young, that's how I got into Seinfeld. I was like, oh, this is actually hilarious. Like, and now going back to it as an adult, like I'm a huge Curb Your Enthusiasm fan too, like Larry David in general. And it's like, it is so funny. It's one of my favorite shows, but it's crazy how I rejected it so hard for so long.
I think it doesn't have enough like physical humor, I think, for me when I was younger to be like that entertaining. It's like I don't want to listen to this guy go the whole time. But I love that Jerry is like the worst character in the show. Like, not to turn this into Seinfeld, but like he's the least interesting one. And I still I love Jerry in that show, but it's incredible. But it is like, it's just very much, it seems weirder that someone would be into Seinfeld when they're younger, because it's like, but why? Like, what about this is geared for? It's also strange that it was just on so often, like that way too. It just felt,
I would have to watch it whenever Lizzie McGuire ended, and there was no more Lizzie McGuire, so I'd have to watch Seinfeld.
There was, like for me, it was always Everybody Loves Raymond. That one was fucking always on.
Yeah, and that was a thing in my house for like a big part of that was my dad's favorite show. So every Monday we'd cook supper and watch Everybody Loves Raymond, and then we would play that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire computer game.
We would do
that together. That was
my god, that
Monday
your
was
family nights your family nights went off.
Yep.
But
The Burning.
Anyway, going back to The Burning, I have to ask about the whole. Have you seen the documentary Cropsy?
I did a long time ago, but I was gonna try and rewatch it before this because yeah, I know.
Yeah, I've also seen it, but it's been so long. I remember they like walk around like new areas in New York, and they're like, "Oh, this is where Cropsey would have been." So
Yeah,
I have to look more into it. But I love that there's kind of like the characters based off of that.
yeah,
You know,
it's a great slasher.
it is a great slasher and a great idea for a slasher that we've seen before.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
I think the effects when you actually do see Cropsy, that's my favorite part is that it takes so long, but when you finally do see Cropsy, it's so worth it.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of like how when Jason gets his mask knocked off for the first time and you get like a real good look.
yeah.
Like, oh, I will say that overall there's so many really cool scenes I liked in this, but my favorite, and I'm sure this is most people's favorite, is just him popping out of the canoe and just
Dude,
slaughtering like because and that was one thing I was gonna mention is that's not like a typical slasher thing. Like I know you see it in like Texas Chainsaw, but to be like the slasher's just hanging out in a boat the middle of the day and like slaughters like 6 or 7 people at
murks so many people in a 50. I had to when I watched it last, I rewound it because I'm like, how much death did they pack in? How long was that? And I calculated it was 50 seconds, five
really,
zero.
yeah, and he's
And I was
just
like,
chopping people's fingers off and
yeah,
stabbing people in the neck.
they cut it down too because like the ratings board was like this is too much. So I would love to see like how far they actually went, but like this really is like the crown jewel on Tom Savini's work, right up there with Dawn of the Dead. Like it's amazing, and that scene in particular is like that's worth your time for picking this movie up. Like
Yep.
that scene alone, and there's
Yeah,
still so much
and
other great shit, but
yeah, and it really reinforces like how scary it is when like the raft comes floating back and they're like, "Hey guys, why are you like fucking around?" There's something very scary that all this is happening like during the day and they're stuck all the way out there. It's a good premise for tension and like just genuinely being scared for these characters.
yeah, no, I totally agree. And like just there, all the dialogue, it just that it doesn't feel forced in the way that like some slashers I love I love the clunky dialogue that doesn't feel authentic, like Sleepaway Camp. It's like that's part
Yeah,
of the
the over the
charm.
topness to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not really in The Burning. Like there's a couple moments, of course, like mainly with Glazer, I would say, like the douche.
Hmm.
But it's like it just goes to show, like you look at movies like Halloween was so elevated because of Jamie Lee Curtis, like that's a genuinely great actor.
Hmm.
And same with Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street. And it's like, and then The Burning has Holly Hunter and Jason Alexander, and they just feel so authentic and real. And
Yeah.
like that's really what makes this movie. There's so many things that make it work, but I truly do. I think it's one of the best slasher movies to ever be made.
Yeah, no, this is, and I think that when you finally do get to see Cropsy, I think that's also something that elevates it. Is instead of just having a straight up masked character or having
Mhm.
a reveal of being like the Scooby Doo thing of like, oh, it was Jeff who walked
Yeah,
over there, that fucker. I
like in
love
Prom
that.
Night, where you pull off the mask and it's someone that we already know. Like it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. That's the Scooby-Dooism, but I love that
hmm
the burning is just this real fucked up menacing. Like when you see Cropsy and he's wandering around in the house, like he's genuinely scary, and just
yeah.
the way they light him, it's just he a
Oh,
genuinely creepy character. And I think that really helps with reinforcing like how scary this film is. And like I kind of mentioned before, like there is something that makes it more terrifying when it's the fact that like these characters are out during the day.
yeah.
He doesn't wait till night to hunt his
hmm
prey. He's fucking out there.
Yeah, agreed. And the lighting really it's like I can't recommend the 4K enough, even though I just have watched it on the Blu-ray.
Mhm.
But like the transfer, it's like a dreary summer camp movie. So it's like it still doesn't feel like it's like super sunny, which makes it kind of creepier. Like of course there are moments, especially the most famous scene with Cropsy, the sun behind him dropping
Yeah.
the scissors.
The
Um
the shears.
the shears, yeah, so baller. And like, yeah, God, that whole scene is just amazing. But just the mood of the whole thing. It's like that's why I put My Bloody Valentine up there as well, is that's another movie that shares the
Right.
like earnest, straight-faced approach to this material where it's like it feels like they're genuinely trying to scare you and it works.
I agree. Yeah. And I like the I don't know if it's like Cropsy's extra spookyisms, but I love that he has like the skull and everything. Like
Hmm.
he has a little bit of the Michaelisms. Like I'm gonna decorate a little bit after I do what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
we love a
Um,
slasher with a personality.
yeah, I know that we contradict each other or contradict
Hmm.
not only each other but ourselves
Big
constantly in
time.
the show. But I would just like to throw in that this one would be interesting to have like a reimagining or a new version of The Burning because it's such a dark overall just yeah like such a dark slasher. I think
Yeah.
that making it now you could do something really fucking cool with it.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Maybe
And
that's overall just because I think that the story itself is good to begin with, but I think that like this is one I could envision like a new age. Oh, we're stuck out in the woods. The kids,
yeah,
their cell phones don't work, and yeah, blah blah blah, kind of bullshit. You know what I'm
yeah,
talking about?
no, for sure. Like we're getting remakes of much like stranger properties.
Well, I mean, like if Slumber Party Massacre could get remade, I don't see why. Like, I feel like this is a little bit above even that kind of film, but like if people remember that, then this one totally should.
I love Cropsy's design in this, and that's clearly the true masterful work of Tom Savini. Um, but the other, I think the one of the big reasons, obviously, is that people don't talk about this one as much is like it didn't spawn all these sequels, and it didn't
Mhm.
have this huge run, and I think that almost works in its favor. It's kind of like The Prowler is another one. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but I put that one up there as well with The Burning and My Bloody Valentine as like some of the best slashers.
I'm trying to remember. Like, I know that it was on my watch list. I can't remember if I have, but I think I
Hmm.
need to go back and check it out again because if it's on the same level as this, then I definitely either it's a missed opportunity for me or I just haven't seen it recently
Yeah,
enough to remember. But I,
no, for
yeah,
sure. I think
I
you'll like it.
I never once again I'm even contradicting myself during this episode is you're right like it is cool that it's just this little one-off gem of its own thing but yeah like I feel like there's something that there could be like one more film in this.
I would greatly welcome more of The Burning. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of a missed opportunity, but at the same time, I love that and they do that in multiple Halloween movies. They've done it in Chucky, they've done it in Nightmare on Elm Street. It's like how are they going to make another one after what they
Hmm.
did? But they really fucking mangle Cropsy at the end of this thing. Like it's like they make sure he is toast.
Oh yeah, they were the kings of like fuck double tapping, we're triple
Exact.
tapping,
Yeah,
and we're also cremating.
exactly. Let's set him on fire. Let's stab him in the face. Let's fucking do everything that you can. And that's something that really makes it stand out. And yeah, like Friday did that all the time, and he would still find a way to come back. And like that's part of the charm of that franchise for me
Yeah.
is how silly it is. But they really go for it in this one. But yeah, do you have anything
I'm
else you want to? Sorry.
just overall, I think that that some of the films we watch haven't aged as well as others. I think this one's actually aged fairly well. I think this is still a very like obviously I had a great time watching it, but for people who haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend. Like it took me up until a couple of days ago to watch it, and I think this is fantastic. Like I really want to watch it again because I think even just watching that last 20 minutes or so like that is really good tension and I think they did a fantastic job of having a wrap up with that considering how many different movies around this time and right before were experiencing that whole like how do the teens save the day or
Yeah.
like save themselves. So I think like this one to have them kind of go on the offensive so much I thought that was a nice touch to it. But
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I think the reason why like I'd suggested this one was because we did a prom night episode and yeah,
mhm.
don't get me wrong, I had a whole bunch of fun with Hello Mary Lou. Big fan of that one. But I was like, man, if we're gonna be talking about like let's extend this a little bit more and let's fix you seeing The Burning because I just knew you
Yes.
were gonna like it.
Yeah, very much appreciated. And I would recommend for anyone, yeah, if you're listening to this and haven't seen The Burning or don't remember it and haven't seen it recently, go watch it again. And like also watching this just makes me want to do like more slashers, like watch more slashers right now. I'm thinking about like I really want to watch the original Hitcher again because that's
I love that movie.
really fucking
Oh,
brutal and violent movie.
you know what? We make the rules, so let's just fuck it. We don't need to keep the. It might not be in consistency with the series because we're gonna do a haunted house episode next, but like, let's do an episode on that. I want to do the Hitcher and the Prowler.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
We should do the Hitcher original and remake because I remember really liking the remake when it came out.
Mhm.
But like, you know,
I
it's
was gonna suggest that, or even Hitcher 2. I have the 2 DVD pack.
I never saw that one. Never got around to the Hitcher
Maybe
2.
you could watch that one on your own. I think, yeah, even just doing the original and the remake would be fantastic. Because yeah, those
Yeah.
I very look fondly on those, and that's also what made me like an even bigger like Michael Biehn fan.
Yep, totally. Oh,
Wait, not no, sorry, not is it? Oh God, what is his?
Ned Stark? Is
No,
that
no,
who
no, no. Who is the original one? The original
Rick
Hitcher.
Hauer?
Sorry, yes, Rutger
Yeah,
Hauer is who I'm
from
thinking
Blade
of.
Runner, and yeah,
Yes, my
he's
bad.
Hobo with the Shotgun. He's amazing. Like the opening scene in The Hitcher, dude, is it's one of the greats. It's so creepy. He's so good. But yeah, no, we'll definitely do some more of these in the near future because even The Hitcher is a little bit different. So that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Hell yeah, that's got me pumped up for more slashing summers. I did. Okay, I forgot to ask. Maybe you have brought it up before. Did you go to summer camp when you were younger?
I went 1 year and it fucking sucked so bad. I went to a Christian summer camp where we had to be in bed by 8 p.m.
Oh, so there was no hijinks and like discovering a secret lore or like a slasher in the woods. None of
There
that
actually
fun.
there was that, but then I realized that I was the one poisoning the camp. Like I went with a friend
You were
when I
the
was
poison in the watering hole, hey?
yeah, it was me that was spreading the misinformation from my like because I was the kid in a fucking super religious camp where we had to go to bed at 8 and wake up super early for prayer and
I was
all
gonna
this
ask, did you have to do
bullshit.
prayer? Was it
Dude,
were all the like
they do the
did you have
song prayers.
games or was it just like chores?
It was both. That's the other thing. I was like, they're just getting it. Like my parents are paying for me to be here, and I'm
Mhm.
fucking working for these. It was
Yeah,
just
like
terrible.
what did they make you guys do? Were you like chopping wood and shit? And they're like, this is what God would have wanted you to
Yeah,
do.
and doing dishes and stuff like that. Like it was terrible, man. Like I have pictures from it too, and I remember I was like, that was one of the worst summers I ever had. I always
Okay,
thought that
so
I thought I was
summer camp
missing
not a
out.
good experience.
No, where because I know in Saskatoon, like so many people went to Redberry. Like apparently that one was fun, but like the
No,
one I
I
went to
was
was not
never
fun.
I was never like a summer camp kid. I don't think we could. It was more like I was just unleashed every day with a bike. They're just like
Yep,
go places and I
those were
would
the
go.
best. Those are
Yeah.
the best summers. But
I
you know,
also
like
thought, oh, go ahead.
this is what's so fucked up though. Is like the reason I wanted to go to summer camp is because I was watching Friday the 13th and shit like that when I was 7 years old. And I was just like, of course I didn't want to get killed by one of like someone, but I was like, it felt like a rite of passage. Like every kid should experience this. Is
Yeah,
that
you
like
always that's like a great premise for like any movie is like all the hijinks that happens at the summer camps. You always
Ernest
want
goes
it
to
to,
camp?
yeah.
It's one of the
I
best
haven't
ones.
seen that. Is it he just go to camp with a bunch of children?
Yep. That was my favorite one
Little
growing up.
sus Ernest.
It's all of it sus. You never did the summer
Sussy
camp thing.
Ernest.
Yeah, the best summers were when you're just ripping around your bike being a degenerate.
Yeah, you never realize you kind of take that for granted that
Mhm.
like yeah, especially now because I have to have like the dogs with me if I do that because I'll take them on late night bike rides. But like
Yeah.
if I go biking by myself at like 1 in the morning, if you're a kid, it's like you're living your youth. If I'm out
Yeah.
doing it, it's like this guy's prowling.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's a little more sus when there's a
Yeah,
grown
people
man on a
are
BMX bike.
yeah, people are calling the cops on me.
Yeah. As always, yeah, ride the BMX bike to the video store and rent out movies like Friday the 13th or shit like that. That was my childhood. And I turned out great.
And look at you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so can you fill us in again for because I am going to be one of the ones having to just listen instead of participate. So what's going on this week coming up?
Yeah, so we got Daniel Epler of Cobwebs and Hayden Gilbert coming back, and we're going to be talking about two haunted house movies. And so we're going to start with The Uninvited from 1944, and then we'll be moving on to Lucio Fulci's The House by the Cemetery. So very much looking forward to that. And I want to do another one after that you can be there for sure. So I got a couple ideas for some pairings that will be fun.
Yeah, I like having the like let's do a couple different ones. I
Yeah.
believe that had we talked about this before because I'm pretty sure I had picked what I wanted to watch for this, but
What is it?
I wanted to do Possession.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I would love that. It's
That
not
movie
really.
is
It's not a haunted house movie, but we
no,
will
but
do
there's
that.
a lot of fucking wild shit in it. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the house drama.
Yeah, that was one of the first movies I saw at the Rio Theater here. It's that movie's a masterpiece. It's so good.
Fuck yeah. All
I'd
right.
love to
Well,
chat about that.
thank you everyone for checking us out again and listening to us talk about a bunch of bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week on the Terror Table. Toodles.